U.S. general says China won't be able to attack Taiwan in near future. China's Xi confronts Canada's Trudeau at G20. Apple prepares to get chips from new Arizona plant in 2024. Poland says missile strike was likely a misfiring accident. Australia recommends against fifth vaccine dose. Drying lake beds in China reveals mystery patterns. Tuvalu turns to the Metaverse. Cameroon celebrates the legacy of cotton during Fashion Week.
Hello, I'm Jolie. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It is Thursday, November 17th, and here are your top stories. U.S. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, said at the Pentagon briefing on Wednesday that China's military won't be capable of invading Taiwan for some time, and President Xi Jinping would probably conclude attacking soon would be a disaster anyway. The top U.S. general said launching an invasion would be a very difficult military operation to execute, and I think it will be some time before the Chinese have the military capability to be ready to do it.
Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin III and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley.
Milley said, "We are militarily prepared, and one of the keys now is to make sure that Taiwan can defend itself. And there are a lot of lessons learned coming out of the Ukrainian war. One of the things people are learning is when blood is spilled and people die and real tanks are being blown up, things are a little bit different." He said the Chinese leader would conclude that an attack on Taiwan in the near future would be an excessive amount of risk, and it would end in a strategic debacle for the Chinese military.
On Wednesday, in a rare public display of annoyance, Chinese leader Xi Jinping criticized Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau over alleged leaks of their closed-door meeting at the G20 summit. His displeasure was likely a reference to media reports that Trudeau brought up serious concerns about alleged espionage and Chinese interference in Canadian elections when meeting with Xi on Tuesday. Xi said in Mandarin that is not appropriate and we didn't do it that way.
Everything we discuss is then leaked to the paper, that's not appropriate.
Trudeau responded to Xi's initial criticism by saying, "In Canada, we believe in free and open and frank dialogue, and that is what we will continue to have. We will continue to look to work constructively together, but there will be things we disagree on." Canada never released an official readout from the meeting, but Trudeau did confirm the conversation and the points that he made to Xi at a news conference at the end of the G20. The two held a 10-minute informal meeting on the sidelines of the G20 summit on Tuesday.
Bloomberg reported that Apple CEO Tim Cook said it is preparing to begin sourcing chips for its devices from a plant under construction in Arizona. The media said that Cook is likely referring to an Arizona factory that will be run by Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, Apple's exclusive chip manufacturing partner. That plant is slated for a 2024 opening during an internal meeting in Germany with local engineering and retail employees. Cook said that 60% of the world's processor supply comes out of Taiwan.
TSMC on track to start 3nm chip production in second half of this year.
Bloomberg reported that Intel is also building plants in Arizona that will open as early as 2024. But the chipmaker is unlikely to recapture the business after Apple swapped out Intel processors in Macs and other products in favor of its own components. The media said that while a 5nm production process that TSMC currently use wouldn't satisfy Apple's near-future desire for more advanced 3nm chips, TSMC could theoretically introduce advanced productions more quickly than it has so far announced.
On Wednesday, Poland said that a missile which killed 2 people appeared to have come from Ukraine's air defense system and not from Russia. Poland's President Andrzej Duda said on Wednesday after a meeting of his country's Security Council that the missile appeared to have come from Ukraine's air defense system as it fired back against Russian attacks. He said, "We currently have no evidence that the missile was fired by the Russian side."
2 people are dead after a blast on a farm close to Poland's border with Ukraine.
Poland said on Tuesday that a Russian-made rocket killed 2 people when it landed about 6 kilometers from the frontier with Ukraine. On the same day, Russian forces fired a barrage of missiles targeting Ukrainian energy and other infrastructure. U.S. President Joe Biden said at the sidelines of the G20 summit that the U.S. and its allies will support Poland's investigation into the blast. Asked if the rocket had been fired from Russia, Biden said given the trajectory of the rocket, it was unlikely it was fired from Russia.
Do today learn. Today is Tuesday.
Commercial.
Traveler 是旅行者。
I have to wait for click.
So he or she is at the Columbia Towers Hotel gift store. 所以他在这个饭店的礼品店，然后他要买东西。Okay, so let's take this chance and listen to the.
学习让生活充满乐趣。FUNDAY 英语。
Based on evidence from Singapore's recent wave, severe illness and death were rare among people who had had at least 2 doses of vaccine for COVID-19, and that a 5th shot had minimal impact on virus transmission. Australian health authorities have recommended against getting a 5th COVID shot, even as they urged those eligible to sign up for their remaining booster doses as the country's latest COVID wave grows rapidly.
New vaccines, which deal with the variants of Omicron, and I am not allowed to access them.
Australian Health Minister Mark Butler said on Tuesday that average daily cases were 47% higher last week than the week before, but cases remains 85% below the previous peak of late July. Butler said that the Australian Technical Advisory Group on Immunizations, ATAGI, had recommended against a 5th dose, or 3rd booster. Australia's Chief Medical Officer Paul Kelly said that the Singaporean experience suggested the current wave would peak soon and that the cases would then drop quickly.
The South China Morning Post reported that strange giant patterns exposed on the floor of Dongting Lake, China's 2nd largest freshwater lake, after a recent heat wave have triggered a range of conspiracy theories on Chinese social media, from aliens to ancient tombs. A slew of netizens have speculated that the patterns were not made by human beings. However, an official from the East Dongting Lake Management Committee dismissed the possibility and guessed the signs are traces of ancient fences or fish traps.
The media said that intense drought has caused 70% of water to disappear from Dongting Lake in Hunan. Since Dongting Lake connects with Changjiang River, its water rise or fall as the water from Changjiang River flows in and out of the lake. Traditionally, fishermen built traps in shallower areas of the lake. When the water rose, fish were pushed into the enclosures, and when the water retreats, the fish gets trapped inside. The traps were dismantled in 2018 during a government campaign against illegal fishing.
Tuvalu said on Tuesday it plans to build a digital version of itself, replicating islands and landmarks and preserving its history and culture as rising sea levels threaten to submerge the tiny Pacific island nation. Tuvalu's Foreign Minister Simon Kofi told the COP27 climate summit it was time to look at alternative solutions for his country's survival, and this included Tuvalu becoming the first digitized nation in the Metaverse.
At last year's COP26, Kofi grabbed global attention when he addressed the conference standing knee-deep in the sea to illustrate how Tuvalu is on the front lines of climate change. He said that Tuvalu was having to act because countries globally were not doing enough to prevent climate change. In Kofi's video this year, he is standing on a digital replica of an islet mostly submerged by rising sea levels. He said that no matter what happens in the physical world, we will move our land, oceans, and the culture to the cloud.
Africa News reported that Cameroon has kicked off its Fashion Week in Yaoundé with an urban parade dedicated to the celebration of cotton. The show was called Cotton Pride from Sea to Dress. Models opened the way to an impressive parade of dancers, performers, clowns, and even giant puppets. The media reported that the urban parade was an initiative of the Center Desk Creators de Mode Cameroon, or CCMC. With its carnival atmosphere, Cotton Pride attracted many people.
The CCMC said that the theme of the designer's collection is to let fashion express itself. It was important for the center to be able to take to the streets to show the Cameroonian public the fashion that is expressed today in Cameroon. African News reported Yaoundé's Fashion Week featured exhibitions, conferences, debates, fashion shows, and other activities aimed at bringing fashion design closer to the Cameroonian public. The parade show was a prelude to the Fashion and Design Forum.
FUNDAY News will help you sharpen your English skills and keep you informed about international current events. If you want to know more about our other programs and keep learning about the world's most important topics in English, please click the link in the description below to join FUNDAY for free. I'm Jolie, your host. I'll see you next time.